Hello, friends. I just wanted to answer this question that somebody asked recently. The question is, how long does healing take with the body code? Now, that is a fun question. That implies that healing, it's like how long does it take for that healing to happen? Well, let's start with the emotion code first. When you do the work of the emotion code, you're working with your energy body in the emotional sense, right? So you're working with the energy body. One thing that I've learned is that the energy always, and this is a law of the universe, the energy form of something precedes the conception of the physical. All right. So when we have emotional stuff going on in our bodies, we first feel it emotionally, and then we sometimes allow it to sit for a while until it manifests physically, right? So a good way to heal is actually to reduce and eliminate the energetic effects so that the physical will then follow. Does that make sense? So when we use the emotion code, we tap into those emotions that are causing issues and we clear those out. And once those are cleared out, the physical body takes over, heals itself, right? So that's one really key way. Okay, then we move to the body code. Okay, the body code also works energetically, just like the emotion code, but we're getting a little bit deeper. Now we're finding the direct correlation between some of these energy saboteurs, emotions, mental beliefs, all those things. So we tap into those and find the connections in the physical body and then help tweak where the physical body has then changed energetically to keep manifesting disease. We go in there, we say, oh, you have, like your whole shoulder is misaligned. And it was misaligned because of physical trauma, which we can release with the body code. It also has shock and hopelessness and other things like that might be lodged in there, preventing it from healing, and so on and so forth. So we're able to tap into that and correct the energetic. All right. The only additional component that I think is worth mentioning between the emotion code and body code in terms of releasing those things and correcting those things is that the body code also it has the ability to remove the blocks needed so the body can take over and heal itself. But the other component is that sometimes the body does need something a little bit extra. For example, like let's say let's talk about that shoulder injury. Okay. Maybe the shoulder's injured. All right. And you release the trauma energy, you release the trapped emotions related to it, and then you align the area. All right. Well, what happens to all that physical scar tissue, that physical, stuff that's just been there for years, maybe? The body can do a lot of work and heal itself. You might, that person might notice a decrease in pain and more mobility, but maybe there's still something there. In which case, then we can employ the assistance of God's medicine cabinet. So some natural remedies that he put on this earth for us to use. And that can, sometimes just help fix it. Or sometimes it's a vitamin or something that the body needs to help rebuild that area or decrease scar tissue or things like that. So does that help answer your question a little bit? Well, I'm going to now give a story that can kind of show how fast and slow this process could take. I'm going to share the fast process with you first. All right. So years ago, I was in this community, and in this community, there was a family whose 6-month-old daughter had gone to the doctor and they noticed something strange. They went and got brain scans done, and the brain scans were horrifying to the family. The brain scans showed many spots of a diagnosed disease that starts with a C and ends with answer. All right. So there were all these spots all over the head. And the parents were terrified. They didn't know what to do. They met with a surgeon, and the surgeon was like, I don't know if we can do anything without killing the 6-month-old. So there was a lot of very, very heart-aching decisions. And ultimately, they decided to move forward with surgery. Well, the day before the surgery happened, one of my friends called me up and she said, this is what's going on. They've decided to do surgery. Is there anything you can do to help? And I'm like, I can try. I can reach out to the parents and see if they're open to it. But at this point, they've kind of already decided, but sure, I'll see what I can do. So I prayed and I contacted the parents to see if it was okay for me to see what I could do. And then I went ahead and connected with this child. And I was able to figure out that there were a lot of toxins in the body of causing this issue, and that they needed to be eliminated. So I energetically just, allowed the body to do its thing, trusting that God would provide whatever miracle needed to happen. So I did that. And then I just kind of prayed and prayed and prayed that, and I knew what they were praying to. The whole family was praying. Friends and family were praying. And the next day, they go in and there's 0 spots in the brain. 0. Next day. Okay. And that experience for me is still very emotional that I got to be part of that. And it stuck with me ever since. And, I can't imagine what would have happened if, that those miracles hadn't happened. So I always am so grateful God let me be a small part of that. And then there are people I have worked with who sometimes it takes years, maybe like 1 or 2, sometimes even a little bit longer, usually no more than 2, which I'm really happy to say. Usually within 2 years of working with me, there's been massive turnaround, like completely different situation. But sometimes it does take a little bit longer. Sometimes it's not overnight, like in the first case. Sometimes it does take months and sometimes even a couple years. So hang in there. It's totally possible. It's totally doable. It's just that I love to be part of these, seeing all these little miracles happen. And I just wanted to share those stories with you and a little bit more about self-healing and how this works. Thanks so much.